What's happening, everybody? This is the Pensive Brothers podcast. This is Aaron,
This is Elliot.
and we hope everyone out there is having a fantastical day.
Fantastical.
We are brought to you by Couch Talk, where we speak really, really quiet.
You can't do that.
We sit on the couch. Yeah, it's not picking up my voice.
Nah, it's definitely not. You can't be whispering in the mic. Okay, this is not a Yin Yang Twins video.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're trying something new,
yeah, you know,
and we
giving
wanted
the
to kind
in-person a
of
different kind of vibe, different kind of feel.
yeah, more of a chill, kind of relaxed, just
Yeah.
chatting with one another
Yeah.
type
Just
of
chatting.
vibe.
Type feel.
So, right off the bat, gotta ask,
Uh-huh.
how many times do you use your towel before it's like, okay, time for a fresh towel?
That's a hard question. I'm gonna be honest. The answer is kind of it depends.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, what I'm looking for is like, even after you shower, I use like a loofah and I use a like a scrub brush. What is it? Shower brush or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Grandma and Pop used to have. So like, even with all of that, you still have dead skin that you don't scrub all off.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're drying off, some amount of that is getting on a towel. And so usually after like 5 uses, 5 maybe 6, like more than a week, I'm changing the towel out
I'm gonna keep it buck with you, bro.
because I shower every day.
A week? Rookie numbers. 2 weeks.
2 weeks is
2 weeks
you shower every single day.
every day of the week.
That's kind of wild. I'm gonna be honest. That seemed like a long time to me.
Yeah. Well, that's what I have Halia for.
Cause she be mad.
No, Halia will just take my towel and throw it in the hamper. And I'd be like,
Oh, okay.
new towel.
I was about to say, wait, are both of y'all using the same towel for 2 weeks?
No.
Okay.
You
Which
want to
might
set
be-
her off, you use her towel.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you that now.
that's a no.
Yeah, no.
Good to know.
She uses the spongy thing. Is it a loofah? Is that what it's called?
You talking about it's like fluffy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like the
probably
little
a
spongy
loofah.
thingy.
Yes.
It scratches you. She uses one of those, but
The
like,
problem is there's more than one. So there's like a sponge where it's like a scrubby sponge, and then there's
well, the
like
one
a
that looks
loofah.
like a
Is it
flower.
brightly colored?
Yeah.
Okay, then
It
it's
looks
a
like
loofah.
a flower.
No, yeah, then it's a loofah.
Yeah, she uses that. But like
That's what I use.
me, I personally, I just use the rag.
Yeah,
soap,
no, I understand.
all that.
Hood classic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. We don't
Yeah.
need all that. We had that when we were shooting in the gym. Oh, you
Shooting
don't understand-
basketball at the gym, right?
You don't understand that. It's a Rick Ross reference. You don't get it.
Oh, I definitely don't get it.
Yeah, never mind.
100%. Is that? Am I supposed to get that?
Yes, it's
Was-
from a song called "Stay Scheming" with Rick Ross
Oh.
and Drake, and
I know the song too.
yeah. And there's a part where he's like, "You weren't with us when we were shooting in the gym." Never mind. It doesn't matter. The point is, she uses the loofah. All right, dang.
that was your point.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of stuff going on. We are preparing ourselves for another presidential election.
That's right. Oh, we're done with the towel conversation.
Yeah. No,
Oh, okay.
we're
All right,
off it. Get
listen,
off it.
You know, I'm just trying to catch up. My
Yeah.
bad.
So before we start getting knee deep into politics, let's
yeah.
get into some nonsense.
I like nonsense.
So, I have been. First of all, you know I'm about to go on my trip.
I do know you're about to go on your trip.
So we are
your
going
money
to
banding.
the Dominican Republic.
Mhm.
Really looking forward to getting away for a while.
I just got off vacation, so I understand it should be good.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try super hard to not do work while I'm there.
You have to try.
I'm like 80% sure I'm going to fail.
How would you even do work?
Take my work laptop.
Don't do that, and then guarantee you have a 100% success rate.
I mean, but is anything 100%?
Yeah. If your work laptop is here, you 100% can't do work on your vacation.
I mean, that's true, but okay. So as I've told you guys before, I'm very particular about everything. So I like the idea of somebody messing with my tracker, messing with my work, literally gives me nightmares.
Why would
Like-
anybody do that while you're gone?
Because the work still has to be moved. And so the problem is, right? And this is so terrible. We have this thing called the backup system, where if you are off,
Somebody's
you're
supposed to be covering for you.
Yeah, but you have to pick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like the supervisor, like at my old job.
Assigns you a backup.
Yeah.
You basically go to somebody and say, "Hey, can you cover me?"
Can you?
Yeah.
But okay, let's say you and I work together, and I ask you to back me up.
Yeah.
What does that mean? When you're out of town, I have to back you up,
Yes.
which I do not.
You don't want to do that.
I am not interested in that at all.
Okay, so which
So
is
I'm literally at the point of I'll work on my vacation just so I don't have to do someone else's work, and mainly not because of that. It's the main reason is I don't want people touching my work.
I don't know.
No, I'm so
It might
serious.
be 50-50.
Because everybody be so I was telling Haley about this yesterday. I was like, sometimes when I'm at work, they'll be making fun of me by saying that I do my work right. They'll be like, oh, well, if you want to do it the right way, you want to follow all the steps, then go in there and do it with Aaron. Talk to Aaron. Aaron will tell you. But if you just
Wait
want
a
to do the
minute.
bare minimums, then, you know, just do this and this and you'll be straight. And I'll be like,
Listen, okay, here's the real problem, all right? They are giving government workers a bad name. They are justifying all of the memes and all of the
let me be-
tropes
let me
about
be-
government employees. You can't
let me be
doing
fair.
it like that.
Let me be fair.
Oh, no.
Okay, I know
Uh-huh.
I do way more than you have to do. But,
Do you?
yes, no, I do.
Are you sure?
Like I have a really nice color coded tracker with all these different dates and colors and everything on it. But the reason why I have that is because my work is pristine and I like it to be pristine. So when somebody else comes in and they're like, "Oh, Aaron's out of town," I'll do that. I'll issue that tentative job offer. No, you have now ruined the tracker because you did not update the civilian hiring tool. You did not update the tracker. Now the colors are off. Now everything is wrong. You haven't set the notifications. Did you put the documents in the folder? See, everything's ruined. One action, everything is ruined.
Okay, but here's the problem, okay? Can't you see everything that happens when you're not there?
No, well, no, like,
You can't see when the work gets moved out of your queue? You don't get notifications or anything?
well, you'll get like certain things, yes. So let's say if somebody sends like a job offer,
Yeah.
then I'll see that. But like if you're just moving stuff without notating, no, you can't see it. And so
why can't you just tell your buddy, whoever's backing you up, hey, listen, I really need you to at least give me a list of all the jobs that you touch while I'm not here so I can go back
that
and just
sounds
make
like
sure.
way more work
It's not.
than me working for
it's-
22 minutes a day on my vacation.
The problem is you assume it's going to stay 22 minutes.
Oh, it's definitely gonna stay 22 minutes. Now I have a trainee.
How can you be 100% about that, but not about not working on your vacation?
So I have a trainee that I have been strategically training for this very moment.
You've been bullying?
No. Strategically training. So, you know, enhanced interrogation, you know, not torture. But no, like,
Not torture.
So, no, I've been making sure that she kind of knows each step, like, really well.
No, you've been making sure she understands how you want each step done.
There you go.
Yeah.
Strategic training. So what I'm going to do is every day, I'm going to say, hey, I need this task, and this task. That's all I need. If you just do that and just send it back to me, I got it. And then tomorrow, when I clock my 22 minutes in, I'm going to go in and I'm going to be like, oh, this is done. Let me review, send it. This is done. Let me review, send it. Like, that's what I'm going to do
I
for
hope
22
you don't have
minutes.
no internet the whole time you're there. I hope your internet just
No,
don't work.
see, it's not a cruise. It's a resort. Free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you're right. So I guess you're gonna have Wi-Fi at least.
Yeah. And besides,
Well.
like, another part of this is what I told Halia this morning. She was laughing at me, but, like, I can't sleep in. Like, I physically can't. You might remember that from when we were in high
Yeah.
school.
No, you were not you
Like-
were always an early bird,
I could be up until 1 o'clock in the morning.
and then you wake up at 6. Like
Yeah, I will be up
Yeah.
by 6:30 at the latest. And
I don't know how you got that gene and I didn't.
I don't know, but it drives me nuts sometimes because, you know, sometimes you want to sleep in, but, like, my body is just like, that's enough. Get up. You're too comfortable. Get up. So she's not like that. And so usually I wake up at about 5:45.
And you just disturb her whole like sleep balance.
Totally.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
like,
whole-
I'm terrible. I'm
just
like holding
ruin the
her.
feng shui in
I'm
the whole
moving.
room.
Oh, TikTok. Time for me to watch TikTok. And now I do watch with the volume off.
Okay.
But
I was about to say you're not rude and turn lights on and make noise.
no,
and-
that's her. No, she does that when she gets up early and I'm not up yet.
It's crazy. Okay, I was telling Justice the same thing because
Yeah.
when I get up in the morning, I usually don't turn lights on.
That's all men. All men do that.
I navigate in the dark. You know, I go in the bathroom, I close the door, and
We
then
stub
I
our
turn
toe
lights
for
on.
you.
But
all
she
that.
get up, it be all the noise. Now, to be fair to my wife, I sleep like a dead bear. So, you know, she can't really wake me up if it's not purposeful. She gotta, you gotta shake me a little bit to
Yeah.
actually get me awake. So I kind of can't be mad at her for that. But
I
it
thought
is
that I
kinda
was
funny.
a light sleeper until I realized I'm a like when
You
we
thought
had
you
our
was a light
goddaughter
sleeper?
here, I was a light sleeper.
Yeah.
So she would cry
But
or
that's because
whatever.
I think you were hyper aware that she
Right.
might have needs that required you to be awake.
But outside of that, no, I'm out, son. I'm
Yeah.
out.
It's funny. I'm the same way. Like, I'm a really heavy sleeper until I know I might need to be awake for something, and then everything wakes me up.
Yeah.
So, like, if
Literally though.
yeah, if I expect a phone call and I'm like trying to take a nap or something, I can't get into a deep sleep.
Yeah.
And if my phone vibrates, if it makes any noise, I'm like, oh, I need to wake up. If I have something that I know I need to be awake for,
Yeah.
bro, that is the worst sleep ever because I just have nightmares the whole night that I'm oversleep.
That's how I am when I'm going on vacation. Like you got to get up early to make it to the airport,
and you don't want to miss the
I
plane and all that.
never get my body into a deep sleep ever. It
Not
drives
until
me
I
nuts.
get where I'm going. Like pre-travel jitters is a real thing, and it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm glad you're going on vacation. I hope you really enjoy it. I hope you actually take a vacation.
No,
Even if it's 22 minutes every day. Don't worry.
Totally like when I'm telling you, I'm about to soak this vacation in so hard.
Well, good.
I can just taste it.
I hope not. You might need to go to the hospital.
Whatever. I can't wait. We're gonna do the ATVs. I don't think we're gonna do zip lining again. We already did that. It was just fun, but I think that's enough.
I'm
We're gonna
not
do
a fan of zip lining, I'm gonna be honest.
There's this thing called Monkey Land or something where there's these little tiny monkeys that you can feed and stuff, and they like jump on your shoulders.
I hope they don't poop on you.
Just don't wear white. You'll be fine. We're gonna go to that. Gonna be lots of parties and nightlife and intimacy and. Let me stop before.
Yeah, I was like, you ain't have to include that last one. You could have left that off.
No, you should have heard what I was gonna say after.
Nah, I don't need to. We good. This is a family show.
Is it?
No, not really.
Oh.
Yeah, we try to keep it PG.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well.
Are there any destinations that you want to go?
The problem is I've actually traveled a whole bunch already. There are a couple of places that I want to take my wife, but I don't necessarily. So we have plans to go to Japan at some point.
I'd love to go to Japan.
She really wants to see the Taj Mahal.
Where is that? India?
India, yeah. I have like zero desire to go. The other problem is my wife wants to go places because she's thinking about what it looks like and she's thinking about the aesthetics of the places that we can go. Mm-hmm. She is not thinking about how picky about food she is and the fact that most of these places are going to have food options that she's not going to want to eat.
That's how I feel about going to see the Eiffel Tower. I saw a TikTok recently about how it's not really...
Food in France is trash. Yeah. I don't know why they're considered like highfalutin food. I've had French food. I've had good French food. It was all right at best.
Well, I know based on that one TikTok alone and your experience in France, I would do a Europe trip.
Yes.
Not a France trip.
Correct.
So what I would do is based on what you said, I would only go to France for like one day.
Yeah.
See the Eiffel Tower, maybe go to a museum or two.
And you could go to somewhere like, you could go to, what is it? Is it Monticello? Where do we go? Monaco. You can go to like Monaco. Monaco's cool.
Monticello is
it's a whole different place. Yeah.
It's Thomas Jefferson's house.
Yeah.
Here.
Thomas Jefferson in Virginia. Yeah. Well, Monticello's a place somewhere else. I don't know. Anyway.
That sounds like a French word.
I feel like it's a French word.
Maybe it is.
It's French enough.
French close.
Oui. Anyway, I would definitely suggest like you could go to like hit the sites in France, but then quickly go to like Germany. Yeah, or go back to England or
no, I would definitely go to England. I would want to see Spain.
Spain is lit.
So I would probably do like, we usually do 7-day trips.
And then go to Italy.
So I do one day in France. Probably, to be honest with you, if we had the money, like depending on what we're talking, because Mom said that you can take the train.
You can. It goes all the way around.
So we would try to do Italy, France, Spain, Germany. I'm missing one.
Italy, France, Spain, Germany,
England.
Italy, France, Spain, Germany, England.
Yeah, I'll hit all 5.
Yep.
Maybe do 2 days in whichever country she and I decided wanted to spend the most.
Well, I know you can get a direct flight. You might be able to get direct flights to other places. You cannot get to France from here. You can get to Spain.
No, I was starting probably in England or Spain though.
Yeah, because I think you can get. I'm thinking about like how many connections you have to take. Because when I went to France, it was 3 flights. So we had a connection flight from here to. I think I went to Atlanta one time, and I went to Philly one time, and I went to like LA another time. Not LA. I'm sorry. It was like France. I'm sorry. It was Philly. It was Atlanta. There was one other one, but I can't remember what it was. But it was not LA.
Maybe it was like DC.
It was something on the East Coast somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But we took it. We had that one connection to get to an international airport, and then we had another connection to get across the sea. So we landed in Spain both times, and then we went from Spain.
Yeah, because Spain would be first unless you like land in Portugal.
Yeah,
but...
well, and the other problem is the only big airport in France, I think, is Paris. All of the other areas of France don't have like easy, quick airport access, but they do have other smaller airports that are just not international, so you can't get straight there.
And those countries are so much smaller than the U.S.
They are, and
It's
you don't
like,
realize.
you're thinking like when I think, oh, I'm gonna go from France to Spain. I'm thinking like going from the United States to Mexico.
No,
but no, it's like
literally like
going to Tennessee.
It's
like,
not even
next
that bad.
state.
It might be like driving to Charlottesville. Like
Okay.
there are literally places like you can get from certain places in France from one end of the country to the other end of the country, and it's like 3.5 hours.
That's what yeah.
So like
That's like driving to DC.
exactly.
Literally.
So
like,
I've driven. There have been road trips me and Justice have taken where I've driven 18, 19 hours. You could drive all of Europe, or a very good chunk of Europe in that amount of time. So, like, you really can see most of the good stuff that, the touristy stuff to see. And then, once you see that, I think you'll be really interested in seeing, maybe there's some, like, real sites, because there's a bunch of really, really, really old stuff in those countries. And I think that would be stuff you'd be interested in, because you're a history buff.
And let me ask you, now I know you had some pretty horrible experiences, but what was, like, your favorite thing when you were over there?
I did have some not great experiences. I'll be honest, driving in France was not the worst. It was kind of interesting.
Did you get a rental car or something?
Yeah,
or?
we all had rentals because obviously we had to drive in to work every day. So
oh, I didn't know if they like had y'all in like a dormitory situation.
Nah, well, no, because it was like, I think it was like 100, maybe 120 dudes there. So like, no, they don't.
Did they just put you up in housing, or they pay you and you find housing?
All right, so the first time we went, we were in these like mobile homes basically, where everybody got their own trailer. And they basically just paid what was an Airbnb rate for us to have the trailer for a couple of months. Yeah. Like, and they have like hostels set up for people to do that sort of thing. And then the second time they literally like booked like maybe 10 floors of a hotel for everybody to stay in, and everybody just got a hotel room. And again, this was it was a smallish hotel, and it kind of had like a little kitchen set up inside. So it was kind of like a Homewood Suites type deal, but it was very, very small.
Like a one room. But you got a bed and a kitchen area, whatever.
Like, think a dorm room with an actual like stove and sink in it that you could use. It's like a little 2-eye stove or whatever. So that part was kind of cool. We went to Monaco, which was actually really interesting. I got to see some really cool cars. Some of the dudes I was there with decided to take pictures in front of other people's cars. I thought that was kind of corny. I didn't want to do that. Listen, to each his own. I ain't trying to throw no shade or nothing, but if it's not mine, why am I taking pictures with the keys in front of it like
it's more like it's mine?
Like,
yeah,
that feels hollow and empty to me. So I won't really doing that, but just seeing kind of the cars and the huge super yachts and that sort of stuff out there in Monaco was cool. And then I think the other thing was there are some really cool like small not French food spots to eat in France.
Not French spots.
A lot of the best food that I had in France was from people who are not from France. So I had, it was the first time that I really had a gyro or euro or however you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone actually knows how to pronounce that.
I'd be surprised if anybody pronounces it correctly.
I don't.
I don't either. It was the first time I had a really good one of those. It was actually very tasty, so I would suggest that if you could find a good kebab spot, because I think they call them kebabs over there. They don't call them gyros or whatever. But yeah, those are kind of the highlights of my time over there. For the most part,
what about
I was just,
difficulty of the language barrier? Tell me about that.
I think the problem really is people who don't speak English hate English speakers over there. Kind of like over here, if if people who don't speak English run up on you and you're like, I don't speak whatever language you're speaking, like you kind of just don't have time for it and you move on. Yeah. But everybody that I encountered at every store, at every gas station, everywhere, if you weren't a native French speaker, they was like, oh, I don't speak English, sorry. And so literally I would walk up and I would bring my stuff up and the number would pop up on the screen and I would pay them the number that it said and then I'd walk away, or I'd swipe my card and then I'd walk away. Like they couldn't talk to me because I couldn't speak French. So
could you give them American dollars there, or are they only...
No. You have to, if you're using cash, you have to get converted cash. I was able to pull cash out because I have Navy Federal, so I could just pull out French dollars from an ATM over there and it was fine. But if you need cash and you don't have like Navy Federal or somebody else who gives you conversions for free, then you would just need to go either at the airport. You can go and exchange American dollars, or pull some out of the ATM and exchange your American dollars for French dollars, and then you can exchange it back when you get back to the airport.
Right.
The only problem is usually there's going to be a line for that. So just something to keep in mind if you're using cash. These days and age, you really don't need to most of the time.
Because and if you're ever doing stuff like that, just make sure you research the exchange rate first.
Yes,
so you
because you don't want to get fleeced.
Yeah,
and you don't want to go to a country where our dollars don't go as far as they used to.
Or if you think you got money,
right?
And then
you think you got money.
And
inversely, there's some places you can go where the exchange rate is crazy. And you can
like Mexico,
places in like what is it, Eastern Europe? So like Croatia and that type place. A lot of those places, your dollar will go pretty far. Well, it used to. I don't know what 2023 dollars are looking like.
I know.
Oh, jeez. I feel like it don't matter how much extra money I'm making if I'm not a millionaire. It feels like
you're still a plebeian peasant.
Yeah. And they still treat you like one too. It's crazy.
I'm over here trying to get these two coins to rub together.
I know,
feel like
right?
The water bill people and the electric bill people are trying to take the coins out of my hands.
Listen, they got big magnets. They over there with the cups, just slapping your hands, trying to steal the 2 coins you got left.
I know, bro.
These electric bills been crazy, bro. It's outrageous.
Well, they raised the rates again. Yeah. But before we start sounding like somebody's grandparents complaining about our electric bills,
I'm telling you, listen, the grandparents always had a point.
But they always got the heat on though.
That's
gas bill.
That's actually a good
gas
point.
Bill.
Yeah, but they do got gas. Yeah,
that's the gas bill. See,
I
got your game, boomers. See, what they're doing is they turn off the AC because they don't want a high electric bill. But gas bills aren't that bad.
No, they're really not.
So it'd be 98 degrees outside, and then they turn the heat on.
You know what really aggravates me, actually? Gas bill should be high as I'll get out if it won't subsidize.
Yeah. No, what
My
aggravates
electric
me...
should be subsidized.
What aggravates me is that our grandfather... Sorry, Granddad. Our grandfather likes to get cold and then turn the heat up with gas in his house when he's wearing a t-shirt and shorts. I mean, like, last time we went over there and it was super... He was yelling. He was like, I'm cold. He's like yelling. And I'm like, Granddad, why don't you put a sweater on? There's people in here and your thermostat says 87. What are you doing? Like,
I mean, it is a good question. And if he's cold, I mean, maybe he got something else going on. I found out recently I'm anemic.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was just for girls.
One, that's sexist. But
no,
two,
I didn't know that men get anemic. I've never heard of that.
Listen, you should always assume that it's probably possible, unless it's uterus specific, that, things are not only for women.
Oh, I'm not saying... I'm saying that I've never researched it. The only people that I know that are anemic is
you know what? That's 100%.
Some of the women in our lives.
I shouldn't attack you like that.
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to be sexist, people. I'm just saying I didn't know that.
But the more you know, because I had the same impression.
You were like...
I was like, what?
You were probably shocked.
I was, 100%. Yeah. I was like, me? Are you sure? And they're like, yeah, your iron's really low. You need to start taking iron. I do be having
low iron, but like, I take the pill.
See, I take a multivitamin, but...
No, I have to take the iron pill.
Because iron doesn't come in multivitamins, I found out.
Oh, well, that makes sense because mom's anemic.
Yep. And she was actually one of the people I talked to about it. And she said, yeah, I take it,
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
So
I
might be anemic. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. And he might too. And that's my point. He might need to be taking some iron. And that might help with it because
he's just old. And he got old man, old stuff.
And that might be true. But if he's not taking iron supplements, he might need to start.
Yeah.
Because I was cold all the time.
Disgusting beets.
That's gross.
There's lots of iron in there.
I won't be doing that. I'll stick to my blood gummies. Thank you very much.
Just in case the COVID vaccine actually did make people into mutants, I'm not gonna take any more iron because I don't want Magneto to come and take the iron out of my blood.
Listen, you don't want him to in the movie just divest you of all of your inner fluids.
I saw a thing the other day on Twitter. It said, "Who do you think will win in a fight, Magneto or Iron Man?" Bro, the comments. Hilarious.
It's not even a real question.
They're like, do y'all not know what Magneto's
Hey, who gonna tell him? I'm not gonna tell him. Somebody tell these ones.
And it was crazy because 46% of people said that Iron Man would win.
These are not comic book fans.
All he would do is crumple you up like a ball of paper.
Not only that, excuse me, this man can move metal with his mind.
Or he could just take the entire suit off of you and then you're just a dude.
The suit. He ripped metal out of people's blood.
Actually, yeah.
He gonna take.
Our man better hope he's anemic.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, he ain't gonna survive the encounter. That's like who will win, Batman versus Superman, and everybody's like, oh, but Batman might win though.
Yeah, if you give him enough time to prepare. No. Superman's gonna laser eye right through him.
He moves faster than the speed of light.
He's faster than a speeding bullet.
He beat the Flash in a race. It happened. It didn't happen often.
Technically speaking, Batman did kill Superman in the comics.
He did.
And in that really awesome cartoon where they cussed. And there was like sex scenes and stuff. There's like
You're talking about it's like DC Dark, I think.
Yeah, whatever it is. Technically speaking, Superman did die because he stabbed him with like a kryptonite poker or something.
Yeah. Here's the thing, okay?
But in a fair fight, a fair unprepared, no, we're gonna fight now.
Here's the problem.
Superman would annihilate anyone.
Even in an unfair, he is prepared for me fight, okay? I don't understand how people think Superman would lose. Because why would he fight Batman fair ever? Why would Superman come anywhere near Batman?
I wouldn't. Would you?
No.
I would laser eye.
I would nuke him from space. I would literally fly out to space, use my X-ray vision to find out where he's at, and just melt his entire house and everything around him, turn his entire body into slag from a distance that's safe and unassailable. Why would I ever get close to him?
Who hurt you?
I mean,
what do you got going on?
A lot of people.
It's very detailed.
Listen, the government has made me think a lot about what I would do with my superpowers, and all of it's not positive.
Okay, government. I am innocent. I've done none of these things. I don't know what he's talking about.
I am not. According to them, there's no aliens, so there's nothing to worry about. If I get
definitely aliens.
If I get superpowers from the aliens,
let's talk about that.
Some people got to answer some questions.
How insane is it that people think that there's no aliens? You don't think that that's crazy?
I think it's
to think that there's this many universes out there and there's literally no one anywhere
who could get here
ever. No, not even just who could get here, but to be so arrogant to think that we're literally the only things when we know how many universes are out there.
I think the problem is we have spent enough time thinking about it that you can conceptualize why it doesn't make any sense to think otherwise.
I mean, have you seen?
I think a lot of people haven't think about it.
What the old telescopes and what the new telescopes show us. You haven't been. So, okay. So I just went to the U.S. Naval Observatory.
I haven't been yet. I really want to go.
Yeah.
The pictures you sent me were crazy.
I don't know if you can go. But I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask tomorrow.
Please. I want to go. Maybe you got to escort me or something. Or
I don't know.
Is it a clearance thing?
Well, no, because it is on base. It's like on base. Yeah, but they do tours, though. Yeah,
I was going to say, and you can get on base with a visitor pass usually. You just have to have a
but I Googled it, and there's a thing on their website that says they shut the tours down for COVID or whatever, and I don't know if it's been
reinstated or not.
That's why I was going to ask.
Listen, you let me know. If I just need, listen, I work for a utility, so maybe they'll let me in for that. No.
So I went to the Naval Observatory, and for those who don't know, the U.S. Naval Observatory, to give you a short version, basically it is astronomers that look into space and they see all different types of things, and they help NASA, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and they control the world clock. But Elliot, they have a picture on the wall that shows you the farthest out, clearest picture of all the universes that we've seen so far.
It's probably really huge.
No, it's a normal size picture, right? It's just it's on the wall. It's a picture.
Yeah.
But it's just the amount of universes.
Are we talking now? When you say universes, are you saying universes? You mean galaxies?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Because you're saying universes, and there are.
But what I'm telling you is, Elliot, you don't understand how many galaxies they know about.
They are literally uncountable. They stopped naming them at a certain point and just started giving them letter number designations because there's so many
that it's I was telling them when I was taking the tour of the facility, I was like, some of this stuff is so much information that I'm struggling to wrap my mind around it because
this is like blowing my mind.
Yeah,
everything I look at is like mental explosions.
Gosh. Yeah. Because when you're in school, they teach you about Benjamin Franklin and science and space and normal stuff. They teach you about the Milky Way and all the way out to Pluto and back to the sun.
They give you this broad overview of everything. They don't give you how much detail we actually have about how things are run and how they exist and how they work.
And while I'm going through this tour and they're showing me all of these things, when I got to that picture of the universes, for them, it's just an afterthought.
Right. It's just like, oh, yeah, and look at this cool picture. And you're like, oh, my goodness.
And I was telling Mom, so the guy that was explaining to me about the world clocks.
Right.
he reminds me so much of you because he's one of those guys that's like so smart. He doesn't know that normal people aren't that smart. So he's talking to you as if you know exactly what he's talking about. And I can follow what he was saying.
But you're looking at other people in the crowd who
That
are
were
just
just
like
like,
dead eye stare, like, oh, okay. And he's over there just info dumping.
and I mean, just going.
Yeah.
Just go. And I'm, like, I was asking question after question.
You-
Because I'm a nerd. Like,
and
I was
everybody on
into
the
it.
tour was like, "Can you shut up so
Yeah,
we can go
like,
see the next thing?"
literally. And so I'm like, ooh, wait a minute. What made you use that element? Like, why that one instead of this one? And he starts talking about the different, like, temperature points and, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
That actually sounds super interesting. I
oh,
like
yeah,
on
I'm
this
trying
tour.
to tell you.
You should have taken me. Why you ain't take me?
I couldn't take you. I didn't
don't
choose
love
to
me.
take you.
You don't love me.
No, the government paid for me to go.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't just say, hey, I'm taking a vacation.
So what you're
No.
saying is my tax dollars went to you going to this. I should have went.
Correct. And it was awesome. I'm serious. I'm
I'm
asking.
jelly. I'm big jelly.
I'm serious. I'm asking.
Okay, please.
But it was.
I hope I get to go. If I
was-
just got to work for the government, I mean, I know y'all hiring and everything, so
They are hiring.
you might even be able to hook me up.
I don't know about that, but I can see what I can.
You know some people who know. Some
I do
people.
know some people. Shoot, I'm trying to get Eric a job over there. Believe it or not.
All right, listen. More power to him. I hope he get it.
Shoot.
So
But no. So anyway, the
Naval
amount
Observatory.
of galaxies out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To me, it is almost arrogant to assume
Yeah.
all of them are empty.
But
all of them.
But like I said, I think the reason that you can come to that conclusion so succinctly and so confidently is because you have spent time thinking about it. I think people who don't think that way just haven't thought about it. I
What do
legitimately
you think is out there? What do you like? Seriously.
So if I were a betting man, there's probably tons and tons and tons of planets where people or things of whatever stripe have done basically what we did, which is see problems in their environment and look for ways to overcome those problems in their environment. And I think the ways that they would have found to overcome those problems and the way that they think about them are probably going to be very novel. So I'm interested in.
You think that the other planets out there are full of humans, or do you think there's all different types of species of things out there?
I think there's two ways of thinking about it. One, I still do not know if I believe that humans only exist on this planet. Like, there's always been some. I don't know. I've always had this inkling that maybe like humans were brought here from somewhere else. Maybe not humans, but we are not close enough to even like Neanderthals for it really to make sense.
That's where
That's
was
where
our
we
last
came from, right? That's our
level
last
of
closest relative.
evolution.
Because there is even evidence that the Neanderthals that mixed with humans are just different than humans who were pure, who didn't mix with Neanderthal, who don't have Neanderthal DNA in their, that's traceable, that's, large enough for them to be able to identify it. So it feels like maybe some number of humans came here from somewhere else, and then maybe they, were with some Neanderthal people because it was close enough, or maybe they weren't, and they just kind of came here and they settled or whatever.
Wait a minute.
But
You telling me that
Yeah.
there's humans from a race that's so advanced that they could have gotten here thousands of years ago,
yeah.
and they were so horny that they started mating with the apes that were here?
Here's the problem, okay? You have not been to the weird parts of the internet.
Well,
You're
there are
laughing?
some weird parts of the internet.
And
that I
I'm
haven't
telling
been to.
you, it's a dude out there right now who is like, this alien slime look real, it's just looking real tasty to
You
me
know
right now.
what?
It's
I
looking
feel
like a
you.
snack.
I
So,
feel you.
nah,
And,
yeah. You telling me they wouldn't come here and be like, you look kind of good over there in your, in your flower loincloth.
Oh my
Trying to
gosh.
hide from me. Just
Oh my
hooting in the
gosh.
tree,
Sometimes I just wonder. When you remember that movie Don't Look Up,
Yes.
and you remember when they
I feel
left?
like we're living it.
I do too. But remember when they left and then they saw those like creatures on that distant planet at the end of the movie?
So technically, they didn't leave. They came back to the planet like 100,000 years later or something.
That's right. They were like in cryo sleep.
Yeah. They're in cryo sleep in space, and then they came
Yeah,
back.
but like, sometimes I just be wondering, like, especially when I saw that picture of all those different galaxies.
Like, what does life on these other planets look like?
One day, maybe I'll try to draw for you or find it online and try to show you the picture I saw.
I mean, if it's anything,
Elliot.
if it's anything like the Hubble telescope pictures that I've seen,
No, that's what it was.
Okay.
But it was like one that I've never, Elliot.
I've probably seen it.
Like,
then.
I cannot
It's-
impress upon you enough
Here's the thing that
how
I think
unbelievable this photo was.
about. I believe it. Here's the
Like,
thing
it looked crazy.
that I think about. Okay, with all those galaxies having all those stars, why is the sky not just 100%
Lit up.
utterly lit up? And
Because you got to understand how far away from each other they are.
and how much light gets dispersed over those long distances.
And to be honest with you, we believe in God.
Yeah.
Some people don't. Cool.
To each his own.
But for us, as God believers, that is part of the genius of the way that the universe was spun.
Yeah.
Because I think if those far distances were not a thing, one, you would have a serious gravitational pull issue. Two, you would have a lighting issue. Because the reason why our planet is able to grow vegetation and all that is because we're just far enough away from the sun.
It's in the Goldilocks zone.
Right. And so imagine if other stars were just a little closer. They would melt everything.
Theoretically, but here's the other thing you got to think about, okay? We cannot fathom, we cannot conceive of life forms that could exist in those conditions. That does not mean that life forms that could exist in those conditions don't exist.
Yeah, because in those conditions, they would probably think the same thing about if we didn't have this much sun.
Yeah, how could you ever live without being literally melted by thousands of, degrees of radiation every day?
Or
how do you function?
How
do you get your energy?
How can you survive when you're that close to the sun, like Earth?
Like it doesn't burn you? It doesn't hurt?
If there's, let's say, subterranean beings on planets that are farther out, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, etc., Pluto, that we just haven't discovered.
Well,
because it ain't like we walking on all the planets.
No, and
we send telescopes out there, but I'm not telescopes, but satellites.
There are reasons to believe that there might be life on like the moons of Saturn. There's a couple,
especially like Jupiter, because they have those. Jupiter has those hurricanes, as you've seen, and those different environmental events. Sometimes I really be wondering, because a lot of our environmental events are changed and impacted by our activity.
And you would think, like, the amount of change that we've seen in kind of Jupiter's in the big spot and like a lot of the other like large storm systems that we monitor over time.
God, it's got to be so cold on those planets. So far away from the sun.
Maybe, but you also don't know what their atmospheric composition is made up of. So you don't know how much heat is getting trapped on the planet side. Because
and how much of that radiation, how it impacts, because we're basing this on our experience, our air, our gravity,
even our ellipse around the sun.
Yeah.
So like
their days are longer because they're farther away.
Exactly, and the angle, like they don't have the same rotational angle that we do. So like the faces of some planets don't actually hit the sun pretty much at all. There are some planets where the way this planet actually spins and the way it rotates,
it's like different. Yeah,
one side gets a lot more sunlight than the other, so you might have dark side of the planet beings or bright side of the planet beings that couldn't survive on the other side of the planet. So like there are so many variables and there are so many different ways that life can exist. Like
and we haven't
touched on aquatics.
We haven't touched on
birds and all of these other things that can exist in these.
What could be out there? Like seriously, what could be out there? Like for real,
we might know and nobody's telling us.
No.
That's what's aggravating.
We might know a few things.
Yeah, we might have some.
What
evidence.
I'm saying is, imagine if you had like those sci-fi movies, supersonic jets, where you could like really go out and in the 2 days make it to another galaxy.
You don't know that we don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
We
might just not know how to use it because we might have all kinds of ships that are capable of all kinds of things. But
I think for the public's interest, maybe we shouldn't, because
people don't know what we're talking about.
No, I'm saying for the public's interest, maybe we shouldn't know if the government is conducting.
I've been thinking about this a lot.
I don't know.
I am worried that if we are willing to give the power to vote for elected leaders to every person who turns 18 in this country, there is nothing else that we should be so concerned with that we don't allow people to at least have the general contours of the information that we have. I'm not saying that everybody needs every single iota of information that exists, but it is very concerning to me the kind of knee-jerk reaction that a lot of people have to say, oh, well, maybe it's just too dangerous. Like, people will go crazy. People are going crazy now.
Well, no, it's not even that I think that people go crazy, but...
And this is always kind of the frustration that I have, right? So the worst thing that can happen if we find out that there's aliens and they've been here and that they have ships, the worst thing that I can imagine happening is you start having a bunch of people saying, well, why are we doing things this way if we know there are greater threats out there? It's going to be an overturning of like the reason that we allow regular life to exist as it does. And that does not seem like a good justification for not being honest with people and giving them the information they need to make decisions with their lives. Because I like the thing that I keep coming back to, and it's weird. I've done the thing that I never thought I would do, but I've done it for reasons that I could not have seen in my 20s.
Eat some peas.
Ew, no, yuck. No, I've moved more center, but I'm not moving more center in like, oh, poor people don't deserve entitlements.
Yeah, you're not moving center economically.
No, not even a little bit. Because I think not only are we capable of doing a lot more, we should be doing a lot more for like rational reasons. Like poor people are also the people that commit lots of crimes. So we should try and make as few poor people as possible so we can incentivize as many people as possible not to commit crimes. Like that seems like a very reasonable through line for why entitlements are important. Like, no, you don't need to just give people things because that creates a separate but equally potentially disastrous issue where people are not putting into the society that they're taking out of, and there's a limited amount of resources that we have to figure out how to divvy up at least reasonably
One thing
fairly.
that I want us to talk about soon is I want us to both write down 3 to 5 concrete policies that if the government instituted, we think it would make the country better. Not cliche stuff like, oh, Medicare for all and Green New Deal, but like actual policies.
Are we talking
economic
about
policies?
Are we talking about policies that could be implemented without lots of infrastructure getting updated, or are we just talking about like stuff that executive branch could do?
Yeah. Well, even if it's something that Congress would have to sign for, I'm saying I want us to have constructive solutions to some of our very valid complaints.
Yeah.
You know, and today, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want to put it on my list.
Okay.
But today I was talking about this with one of my coworkers, and it was like, man, if the government just did this, and it's a very small thing, I was like, I feel like this would, one, incentivize graduation. 2, it would help the younger generation as far as making the transition from college to the workforce. Because what we were talking about was we have a lot of work to do as a country on healthcare for when you first have a baby. The expenses of how expensive it is to have a child, prenatal care, et cetera, et cetera. But like, I think we have a relatively all right public school system where children can go to school and they go really from pre-K to 12th grade.
I think it's a good blueprint for how it can be done. I do not think it accomplishes the thing that we needed to accomplish in this day, because I think it was great for what it did back in the day.
Yeah, but like what I was saying was like I think that we should start attacking the areas where we're failing. And yes, can we make public school better? Of course. But what I'm saying is areas where there's a complete lack, right? And one area that I think there is a lack is the transition phase from bachelor's degree to first apartment / first home. There is a giant gaping hole for people who didn't.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you missing out like the hardest part, because I think the transition from bachelor's to owning your own house would be fine if the transition from being in high school. I'm saying from graduating
bachelor's
college
degree
to
what do you
your
do
own
next?
place. Whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
I understand
I think that
that's not a public school problem.
No. This isn't about school. What I'm saying is,
well, we started with school.
No, I know, but what I'm no. Listen, what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, I want us to write down. I want us to come up with policies.
Yes.
And I want us to target them at areas where the country, the government fails, right? And so what I'm saying is, public school. I think you and I are a product of public school.
Correct.
We figured it out. We did good. We graduated from high school. Now, going to college, I think that's more of a family thing.
Yeah.
Your parents are going to tell you to go to college, go to the military, go to trade school, go to straight to workforce, et cetera, et cetera. Do we need more resources? Yes. Could we do better? Yes. But I'm saying is, as a person who graduated and seriously struggled, I think that we as a country could do better in just in one concrete policy, going from kids that graduate to the workforce. I think that it would be nice if there was a transition period of and and we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
But like,
okay.
that's just one area where I
Because what I
think
was
the
gonna
government
say
could do
is,
better.
I agree with you,
And I'm
but
not saying to put that on the school.
well, and I would ask why not?
Well,
Because
because I think
I don't want you gatekeeping all of the adult skills that are necessary to figure out how to navigate adult life behind a college degree. I want that to happen before you are legally responsible for yourself. So it doesn't make sense for you to wait until somebody graduates college unless we're going to say those people are not adults until they graduate college, in which case, okay, maybe we can talk about it like that. But if we're holding 18-year-olds responsible for being adults, hey, you're responsible for figuring out how you're feeding yourself, how you're clothing yourself, how you're housing yourself. Figure it out. It's your problem. We need to be in the business of giving people the tools to do that effectively. And I think every paradigm of thinking that is not, we need to arm people to be effective in our society so they don't decide that the best way for them to improve themselves in our society is to break stuff. We need to be thinking about it like that. And I don't like when I hear people talk about their solutions to crime, it's very evident to me that they are not thinking about crime as a secondary order thing of people who feel like that's their best option. Not that it is their best option, but they feel like it's their best option.
Yeah.
So the more things that you put in front of people to say, hey, you can't say that's your best option because we made it real easy for you to go over here and do this, or for you to go over here and do this. We gave you a whole skill for free.
No,
like
you
was in public
decided
school.
that's what you wanted
right.
to do.
You was in public school. We taught you how to weld. We taught you how to be a carpenter. We taught you how to make music.
It is a shame that and I think the 21st century version of that, it's nothing wrong with kids learning those things, welding, etc.
Yeah.
Prudence Center, all types of different programs. But like, what I would say is financial literacy. Well, I was gonna say banking, but that's part of financial literacy. Definitely, you need to have the fact that we don't have classes on housing.
What
is
financial
crazy to me.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I have a question because this is something I've been thinking about lately, and I actually don't like this. Everybody talks about financial literacy. What do you mean when you say that?
So what I mean is, if I had the power, the magic wand to make a financial literacy class, right? That class would include retirements, what like the difference between a 401k, IRAs, etc.
Yeah.
That class would include credit, where you would learn what is a credit score, how do you maintain a credit score, what are things that you can do when you don't have a job to benefit your credit, what are things that you can do right now as a 10th grader to work on your credit, what shouldn't you do when you graduate, what should you be doing with your little check that you make at the food line every 2 weeks. That class would include it would talk about the differences between household income of different races. It would talk about the disparity of
let me ask
it would talk about the disparity of the cost of college from, let's say, like back in the day to now. It would talk about paying back your student loans, what types of jobs offer programs to help you pay that back, what getting married does to your ability to get things like food stamps and social security, all like it would cover how you maintain money as an adult.
And so the majority of the things you listed I do think would be very helpful, and I don't disagree that
and you do recognize that's something that you do not know when you graduate from high school or college in most states, unless your parents taught you.
Well, and that's I think that's the point I'm going to make is
we were lucky.
We were lucky, but we're also smart, so we would have figured it out.
Hopefully.
A lot of people, we would have. I had to mess up a lot of money to figure it out, not because I necessarily needed to do that, because I was hard-headed, just like most people are. But here's what I worry about, okay? There is a pernicious problem where we have financialized everything in our society too much. So a person who's really good at doing carpentry should not have to also understand the ins and outs of financial instruments. They should not need to know how to manage an IRA. I'm
listening. I'm not saying that.
Let me try and explain, okay? If I want to get people who are the best at doing the things that they're really good at, I need to try and maximize them doing those things, and I need to make space for them to be bad at other things, and it not be the end of the world for them to be bad at other things. I do not think that means we need to just let them not have to ever worry about managing money. But again, there is an industry that has a incentive to make as many things financialized as possible, and to remove as much
Blue collar skill.
it's not even just blue collar skill. It's extracting all the wealth from the value of blue collar skills and then using that to further create new financial instruments, and all the money gets trapped in banking and IRAs and loans and stocks and all of those sorts of things, and the money is not actually going to build real things with real skills for real people. So while I do think there should be financial literacy classes, because like you said, credit has a purpose and most people use it improperly. Most people are using credit as like extra money. It's not extra money. It's credit. In fact, it's extra expensive money is how it actually ends up playing out. So,
well, I guess So I understand what you're saying. I do. And actually, to a degree, I take your point.
If you do a financial literacy class where all we are teaching people is, hey, here are all the ways that you navigate our banking sectors, I think what you do...
Well, no, not just banking. I literally told you. Yeah, I'm talking about buying homes, about student loans.
No. But hear my point, though.
Okay.
All of those things are banking. So buying a house, you need a bank. Student loans, you need a bank.
Well, I guess,
or a loan servicer who works with a bank. So everything ends up getting tied back to these financial institutions that don't do anything other than find ways of extracting you from your, separating you from your money. And we need actual, we need real value being generated in our society.
Well, I think that's where the confusion is coming in. So let me try to add
tell me what I'm saying. This.
So I'm not disagreeing with you. Okay. I think that, yes, you don't want everyone to be thinking, oh, I'm in high school and I think I'm going to be a banker because I took all these banking classes. No, what I'm saying is the same way when we were in high school, it was important that you take some foreign language classes so that you're slightly cultured. The same way it was important for you to take. Yeah, hear what I'm saying. I think that a basic financial literacy class is a good curriculum piece that I think all adults should have.
I agree with you.
And what I'm saying is it's crazy.
Or call Dr. Umar.
He actually has a financial literacy class on his first school thing.
You know what he also has that I think we really need?
What?
He has a how to understand and navigate your emotions class, talking about psychology and specifically
for black boys specifically too.
Specifically, I like that. And addressing because I think black boys need it in particular because we don't have a lot of the tools and language in order to explore feelings in a manly way.
Yeah.
So
we're also taught not to succumb to your emotion in a lot of ways.
But I don't think that's wrong. I think it's taught for the wrong reason.
And also it's taught in a way that I think you and I, again, we were lucky.
Right.
Because we had grandma.
Right.
And grandma, I think,
was able to talk to us through a lot of these things without... She never had to use psychology language to explain to us why it was important that
calm down.
Yeah. If you're upset, being upset is fine. It's all right, baby. You all right.
But you got to think.
But you got to think about what you're doing. And so she was able to couch all of the conversation in a way that we could hear it and accept it because it's grandma.
Right.
But we were still able to get the lessons and become emotionally mature without messing up a whole bunch of other people in the pursuit of figuring that out. Right. And I genuinely think a lot of because I think about the dumb stuff I did in high school and, some of the just ways that I was selfish or that I was mean or that I was inconsiderate to people. And a lot of times, if I had known better, like I do now, if everybody had ever, put questions to me the way that I heard them put to other people, and I had the space and opportunity to consider them that way, there are just things I would never have done. There are things there are just ways I would have operated differently. And I think a lot of people are in that boat. So...
I do like that idea.
A financial literacy class would be good.
Just a basic. No, I'm not saying you're going to be
you don't got to go crazy. Yeah. We don't got to turn people into, financial geniuses.
Right. You don't have to be Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
But to me, I know, one of my line brothers, one of my fraternity brothers.
Yeah.
He was in my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
He used to kind of make me think, no matter how smart I am, there's always stuff that I need to be working on. And
it's true.
Financial literacy was one of them. When I was in college, I basically put on a financial literacy forum. And terribly unsuccessful event. It was a great event, though. It just wasn't a lot of people that
nobody
wanted
showed,
to go.
Yeah, nobody showed up.
Some people showed, but it wasn't a big event. But like the information that was given at this event, it was very good. And like I remember when I did it, I was all sad at first because a bunch of people didn't come.
Right.
Like we did a movie night and we showed Deadpool and everybody was there. We
But
did
then
like
you do
a free
financial
ice
literacy.
cream event. Everybody was there. We did all these good events. And you do something important thinking,
People gonna show up for this one.
nope, nope. But the
That's
point
how
that
it
I
goes.
made, the point that I made when I put that event on was no matter who's here, we were putting it on for the community, which is the school,
Right.
right? And it's important because, especially for Black people specifically,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll try to wrap it up here, but for Black people, we know we are already at a historical disadvantage when it comes to capital, when it comes to household income, when it comes to household wealth.
Yeah.
So it's important that you know and understand the systems that we do have and try your best to navigate them.
Yeah.
And, you know, none of us know everything. And it's always good when you have an opportunity to try to get, and that's why I'm saying with the class, if we had a general class that taught these things, yeah, I think that would go a long way for
I'm gonna be honest with
less broke, you know, or at least, you know, some people have the information.
I'm
And
gonna be
I
honest
think,
with you.
you know,
If
you're not
I
gonna get
had
them
a
all,
school,
but
okay, one of the things that my school would do is we would have every single child in the school would have your parents, when they sign you up for our school enrollment, they would also sign you up for a credit card. You don't get to use it. They don't get to use it. The school holds onto the card and we do not use it. You can always see it. We'll provide free credit reports or whatever, but we would be starting, it would be high schoolers and up. So I think you can officially open it. I think you got to be 16 or something like that. Is the first time you can open credit, but we would be opening credit for people before they can use it to extend the life of the credit. Now,
Man.
if this gets adopted in mass, it has the potential to kind of deflate the value that would have in like your credit report. So like the insurance companies are really good about making adjustments when they see societal changes.
no, because you got to remember. So what you could do in that situation is you could partner with a credit card company,
Yeah,
and then they would create a, you know, a high school card, you know,
Yeah, a
whatever
card
it
for
is,
your school,
you
yeah.
would name it whatever. But like, no, that's a good idea.
yeah, and you sign up every single student.
credit year is
One
of
of
the
things.
hardest part. Credit age, I'm sorry, not year.
Yeah, the age of your credit history. So when you're 18, 19, 20 and you need credit, you can't get no credit because you just don't have enough history. So that would be one thing that I would do. The other thing that I would probably do is maybe we don't use the card, but maybe we have something specifically in the school that, hey,
No.
it's
What
like
I would do,
it's like a pre-cleared card, or the, what do you call it?
No.
A secured card. So
Yeah.
we would have events where your parents pay the school for the event.
And then
the
your
school
credit
would
card is
charge the
swiped.
card, and then the school
Yeah.
puts the money back on the card, and that would be how we
that's what I was
constantly
about
build
to
the
say.
credit up.
You would have, maybe there's annual fees of some sort, where it's uniforms or whatever,
Yeah, or whatever,
And it
and
has
that
to
goes on a
be
card for
however
the
they
school.
pay. It don't even matter how they pay. They pay the school.
No, it goes on
and then
your-
the school would just put the money on the card.
on the card. Exactly.
No, that's it. I like that idea. Now you would have to convince parents to let you run a credit card on their child, but if they want to be in this good school, they'll do it.
You don't even have to convince them to let the school necessarily do the card.
No,
You
the
tell
card
them-
will go through a bank.
Correct.
And they can
And you
download
tell the
the app.
parents, hey, this is why we do it. This is the benefit of doing it, and it's a requirement of coming to this school. So now that's
And
gonna,
we don't tell this, you know, man, Elliot, I really like that.
when you're trying to fix problems, there are lots of really good ideas out there. But you have to be trying to fix the problem, and you have to have, because I
that's
think
a good idea, man.
the problem that always ends up, that I always come to, right? Because I think I have lots of great ideas, and I
do
do
too.
not have the patience to implement most of the ideas. It's not the patience. I recognize how much work it is to actually implement most of the things that I can think of.
If we were
implement
independently
them
wealthy,
properly?
where we could just throw
Correct.
some money
It's one of the
at
reasons
these ideas.
I think Jeff Bezos and like Elon Musk can be simultaneously some of the best and worst people on the planet. Because
Man,
with
if we were billionaires.
the amount of money that they have, there are specific things that they could do that would not cost them even like
They
as-
wouldn't even need to lose sleep over it.
they like it's
You
an
could
amount of
throw
money that
out
they just piss away.
$500 million and you wouldn't even feel it.
There are problems in the world that they could fix. And to be fair to them, okay?
be
And
honest
this is
with
why
you-
I say they're some of the best and worst people in the world. Because to be fair to them, they do this.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
They have foundations, they have charities that they run, they have
Scholarship
things.
funds, etc.
They do these things, but I want them to fix big problems when they
Yeah.
have big money like that. And it never feels like they're fixing big problems. It always feels like they don't like fixing big problems because that opens up the opportunity for them not to be independently excessively wealthy. So like, and this is always the problem with most of your, most of your really big societal fixes is there has to be a cost somewhere. And I don't know how you ever get the people who would probably have to pay the cost. Even for like the credit card thing, the credit card company, the bank, or whoever you're partnering with, they might make money because now like you're getting all these cards with them, but they're not making any money on these cards because if you're doing it properly, they're not making no interest off these kids. Now maybe you have something in the contract where, hey, listen, we will pay you $1 of interest for every card that you sign up. We'll just make sure that there's always $1, so you can always collect interest on $1. However many cards are active, you get $1 of interest a month. So that might mean you make 15 grand because we got 1,500 kids here or whatever. That math don't check out. It would be $1,500 a month or whatever. But still,
right. But the thing is, now you have this open line of credit
and that the kids are benefiting from, and they don't have to pay any extra money into it. But
the business will write that off. Though.
That's what I'm saying. Like
everybody eats.
There is a way for this to work where everybody has the opportunity. Now,
imagine if society was set up in a way that is a policy that would be systemically helping everyone. That is something that would never happen in today's climate.
Well,
which is so depressing.
And here's I guess we'll end with this, right?
Okay.
So
what you got?
No matter what policies we come up with, there are 3 things that I think have to happen, that have to change before I think we'll ever really see real change. One of them is that we have to get all of these cynical, jaded, it's never going to get better people out of positions of power, because they are half the problem. People who genuinely believe...
Well, the people in power, yes, they're saying it's never going to change, but they're also keeping it from changing, if you know what I mean.
And the problem is some of those people genuinely believe it would never change, so they need to get their piece of the pie.
It's almost like a...
We know some people who are like, hey, listen, if we don't cheat and steal to the best of our ability within, the limits of the law, somebody's going to cheat and steal, and then I'm going to be the sucker on the back end.
Right.
But if it's a prisoner's dilemma situation where, no, what you have to do is say cheating and stealing is wrong because it makes the world worse.
Yeah.
I'm not going to contribute to making the world worse. And that is that's the energy you got to bring to it. And I think if we give people who don't want power, we force some people who are like, man, I don't need to be in charge of nobody. That's too much work. Or not too much work, but that, there are other people who are better for it than me. Like a lot of the people who have that attitude, no, those are the people you give the power because they're, one, going to be ready to give it up when they're no longer capable of doing the job. And two, and more importantly to me, they are genuinely going to recognize how important the amount of power that they've been given is, and they're going to use it appropriately. So I hope that RFK gets his shot at becoming president. And
he's not.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not a fan.
And it's a shame.
We'll get at it.
Yeah,
we'll get at it, but not today.
We're going to talk about that a different day.
But yeah, no, I'm not a fan. No.
Yeah, we definitely going to have to talk about it because I don't understand why.
We'll talk about it.
All right. Well, listen, this has been the Pensive Brother Podcast, Season 2. I'm Elliot.
This is Aaron.
And we are out.